My dad never let me watch his personal scary movies. When I finally got my hands on them, I cried for my mommy. My dad always kept these special DVDs locked in a drawer in his office. He called them his personal scary movies and said they were too intense for me to watch. I'd hear him laughing from behind his closed office door whenever he watched them late at night. When I asked my mom about them, she'd just say Dad was a filmmaker before I was born and liked watching his old horror movies to remember the good times. But something always felt weird about it. If you made movies, why wouldn't you want to show your family? Dad never let his keys out of his sight. He kept them on him constantly, even when he showered. But then one night he had an emergency appendix surgery. The ambulance came so fast that his keys were still on his nightstand. Mom rode with him and said she'd be at the hospital for at least 3 hours. This was my chance. I was 17 and had been curious about those DVDs for years. I went straight to his office and started searching everywhere for where he might hide a spare key. I checked behind picture frames and under his desk lamp. Nothing. I went through every drawer in his filing cabinet. Still nothing. Mom texted that she was leaving the hospital in 20 minutes. Dad was fine, but groggy from surgery. I had maybe 5 minutes left before she'd be home, and I was running out of places to look. I checked under the carpet edges and felt along the window frame. I even looked inside old book covers, thinking maybe he'd carved out a hiding spot. The office was getting messier with each place I searched, and I'd have to clean it up perfectly, or Dad would know someone had been in there. Just as I was about to give up, I stepped backward and heard a floorboard squeak differently than the others. It sounded hollow. I pressed on it and felt it give a little. Using my fingernails, I pried up the edge and found a small space underneath with a tiny envelope inside. The key was smaller than I expected. My hands were shaking as I unlocked the drawer. Inside were about 20 DVDs in clear cases with dates written on them in Sharpie. June 2018, December 2019, March 2021. The most recent one was from just last month. I heard a car door slam outside. Mom was home early. I grabbed the most recent DVD and shoved it in my laptop to copy it to a USB drive. The transfer seemed to take forever. The progress bar crawled across the screen while I heard Mom's footsteps on the front porch. The file finally finished copying. I ejected the USB and put everything back exactly how I found it. Locked the drawer, replaced the key under the floorboard, straightened the carpet and papers I'd moved. I made it to my room just as Mom came upstairs. "How's Dad?" I called out, trying to sound normal. "He's fine, sweetie. Just needs rest. You doing homework?" "Yeah, just finishing up." I waited until I heard her bedroom door close before I plugged in the USB. My heart was pounding. After years of wondering, I was finally going to see Dad's movies. The video started and immediately I wanted to throw up. It wasn't a horror movie at all. It was my dad in a hotel room with a woman who definitely wasn't my mom. They were kissing on the bed and she was laughing at something he said. The camera was positioned on the dresser, perfectly angled at the bed. I clicked the next file with a date from 2 years ago. Different woman. Same kind of setup. This one was in what looked like an apartment. The woman called him baby and said she loved him. The third video made me actually scream. It was in my bedroom. My bedroom. While I was at summer camp last year, Dad and some blonde woman were on my bed. I could see my Pokemon posters in the background. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Then I sat on the floor crying. How many women were there? How long had this been going on? Did Mom know? Mom must have heard me because she knocked on the bathroom door. "Honey, are you okay?" I opened the door and she saw my face all red and covered in tears. She saw the USB drive in my hand. Her expression changed from concern to resignation. "You found your father's videos?" she asked quietly. I could barely speak. "You knew?" She led me to the kitchen and made us both tea. Her hands were steady, like she'd been preparing for this conversation for years. "How long have you known?" I asked. She stirred her tea and looked me straight in the eyes. "Of course I knew. Who do you think filmed them?"